Now at 10, safety is the #1 thing when learning to shoot any kind of firearm. KOAM's Carrie Worthen went down to Shawnee Skies in Wyandotte, Oklahoma for details on firearm safety. Plus, the George Washington Carver Lab demonstrated some nutty experiments. And 4 staters had the opportunity to take part in a stained glass course.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Cale Chapman. The George Washington Carver Lab demonstrated some nutty experiments using early 20th century technology. The lab is located at the George Washington Carver National Monument. Demonstrators show how Carver used an often overlooked plant to change the way we think about agriculture. Carver was a decorated academic with a master's and bachelor's degree in agriculture from Iowa State University.
I mean, it comes into major play because if you're trying to feed your families or if you're trying to make a living as a farmer, being able to grow of diverse types of crops and then having diverse products, it gives you a reason to grow them and a reason, and then still they can be nutritious and help take care of your family.
The event was free to the public and lasted about 2 hours. Safety is the #1 thing to learn when learning to shoot any kind of firearm. KOAM's Carrie Worthen went down to Shawnee Skies in Wyandotte, Oklahoma, and has more on how to be safe when using firearms.
Whoa.
Shawnee Skies in Wyandotte, Oklahoma is a shooting complex and training center open to the public. Known for shooting clay, this complex has 2 separate courses with 25 stations. Rangemaster Mike Kelly was a police officer for 38 years and has a lot of experience when it comes to gun safety.
So I've shot enough pistols in my life. I don't shoot shotguns now.
The #1 safety advice Kelly teaches is how to hold a gun.
So if you're shooting an over and under, which this is an over and under shotgun, break over shotgun, it should be broke open until you get on the station where you're going to shoot. And at that time you load it and you close it. But as long as it's open, it's safe. It can't go off. Same thing for a semi-automatic or a pump action gun. The action, which is here, has to be closed for the gun to go off. So if you're not shooting, I want you to walk around with the action locked back like that. When you're shooting, it'll be closed more like that.
Quapaw FFA instructor Jason Couch is helping his students get ready for a competition. Couch says each student has to go through a hunter safety course to come to the range.
Come out here, we do a lot of gun handling safety, especially our first couple of practices, and that's the biggest thing we deal with to make sure we don't have any accidents. I hope they go on and enjoy it and teach this to their kids when they have kids later on in life, because it's something I enjoy, they enjoy it. It's something that's a little different than normal, than a lot of people get to do.
Remember, safety could be on or off, but it's definitely #1 when holding a gun. In Wyandotte, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Shawnee Skies says they are not only for experienced shooters, but for beginners as well. The Art Forms Gallery in Pittsburgh hosted a stained glass workshop today for beginners looking to try their hand at the art form. The workshop goes over how to score, break, groze, grind, copper foil, and solder stained glass. At the end of 5 weeks, participants will have their own glass panel to display at home.
So happy that I'm able to provide that opportunity for the area people. We have people here from Parsons and outside Parsons and Joplin that come from the 4-state area, not just Pittsburgh. So I think it's something that people see stained glass in windows, they admire, they love, and it's like, oh, I wonder if I could do that. And they find out they can.
Materials were provided by the instructor. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for a first look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much. Last day of winter officially, according to the calendar, but it's been feeling like winter for the last several days. Radar is all clear right now, and over the last 36 hours, it's definitely been winter-like with temperatures struggling into the 30s for highs and all the way down into the teens for lows. And this afternoon, we did make it up into the lower 40s, and hopefully we have some warmer weather on the way, but not tonight. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 30s all the way down to the mid-20s by morning. And looking down the lane, we have a cold night tonight, and then a windy Monday, followed by some Tuesday rain, and then another round on Thursday. And I'll tell you all about that in our forecast coming up in just a little while.
All right, well, thank you, Sam. Former President Donald Trump attended the NCAA Championship Wrestling event last night. just hours after calling for protests and claiming his arrest in a New York-based hush money case is imminent. As CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry reports from Washington, the prospect of an indictment is prompting wide-ranging reactions across the political spectrum.
Former Vice President Mike Pence says an indictment of Donald Trump is not what the American people want to see.
I'm taken aback at the idea of indicting a former president of the United States. It just feels like a politically charged prosecution here.
Pence cited Americans' right to peaceful assembly after the former president called on his supporters to protest in a social media post announcing he expects to be arrested on Tuesday. In an apparent response, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg emailed his staff saying, quote, "We do not tolerate attempts to intimidate our office or threaten the rule of law in New York."
We have strong institutions and should have confidence in the due process of law. And I think that's what you're seeing play out here. Nobody's above the law.
A New York grand jury is investigating hush money payments to women who allegedly had sexual encounters with the former president. Accusations Trump has denied. Some say an arrest could help boost Trump's prospects for the 2024 presidential race.
I think it's building a lot of sympathy for the former president.
I think it'll probably charge and probably amplify his base, given that he's running.
Go Trump! Go Trump!
Supporters came to rally in Trump's defense in Oklahoma, where he appeared at the NCAA Wrestling Championships and near his Florida estate.
I mean, you could keep going after him and the outcome's all going to be the same, and it's only going to incite more people to come out and support.
Trump's claim aside, the timing of any possible indictment remains unclear. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The Manhattan DA's office has been coordinating security measures with the NYPD and other local agencies. Coming up, teachers in Los Angeles are preparing for a strike in the nation's second largest school district. Plus, a new health trend is gaining steam in parts of the U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer is calling on the FDA to investigate a Chinese company he says is illegally marketing e-cigarettes on social media to children and teens. Schumer said at a press conference in New York today that he's asking the FDA to take action against Elf Bar. Schumer said Elf Bar is evading FDA rules by advertising on social media spots like Instagram and TikTok and features flavors like apple, peach, peach mango, cotton candy, and others.
Elf Bar is littering TikTok and Instagram, using influencers they pay directly to push e-cigs to kids and to teens. This kind of ploy might totally evade FDA advertising rules. I believe it does, and we have to get ahead of it.
The FDA has not yet responded. Parents are keeping an anxious eye on negotiations between the union and LA schools. Unless a deal can be reached, campuses in the nation's second largest school district could temporarily close this Tuesday. This weekend, people came out in support of school workers.
What do we want? Respect. When do we want it?
A small group of LAUSD teachers, parents, and other workers rallied outside of the district's headquarters Saturday ahead of a planned 3-day strike Tuesday that will force schools to temporarily close. SEIU Local 99 is leading the strike, saying the union, which represents some 30,000 cafeteria workers, custodians, bus drivers, and more, has reached an impasse in negotiations with the district.
I'm here standing in solidarity with SEIU workers and teachers. We're standing together. It is wrong that SEIU workers work in poverty, on average make $25,000 a year.
People become teachers because they care about the community, because they care about the students, because they care about a better society. But you cannot have good education with wages that force teachers to look for 2 jobs.
UTLA members say they'll support the strike. Together, both unions represent more than 65,000 workers. At issue, SEIU wants a 30% raise for its members. LAUSD said it's offered 15% overtime and 10% up front. Earlier this week, the superintendent asked the union to return to the table for negotiations.
Next week's strike is not for UTLA. Next week's strike is not for the teachers. But we teachers are going to go on strike. We're going to give up our days' pay for those days, and I'm happy to do that.
Students say ultimately they're the ones who suffer and hope those in charge can come to an agreement soon.
We are the future. We are what matters. But what also matters is that we should also be given more resources.
If the strike does happen, the district will provide food distribution at about 60 locations and childcare for 100,000 students.
Authorities in Miami Beach, Florida said that they're imposing a curfew beginning tonight. This comes after 2 fatal shootings and rowdy, chaotic crowds the police have had difficulty controlling. The city said in a news release the curfew would be from 11:59 p.m. tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, with an additional curfew likely to be put in place Thursday through next Monday.
We were in Mango's, and it was like we saw a bunch of people kind of rush the door, like the main entrance.
Everyone was running in and ducking and
then
knocking
everybody,
tables over.
Yeah, everybody in the restaurant.
Slamming the front doors shut.
Yeah, and everybody was kind of scattering, ducking down, running to the sides of the restaurant.
The City Commission will hold a meeting tomorrow to discuss potential further restrictions next week. Many people would dread uncomfortable feelings of going to a hospital and getting an IV put in their arm to give them fluids. But now some people are voluntarily doing this on their own. It's part of a newer health trend making its way across parts of the nation. It's called IV therapy.
As CEO Mark McManus gives a tour of drip IV therapy, it sounds more like he's describing a swanky spa.
This room is our VIP room. It's really designed for a couple or one individual that kind of wants to just be in a quiet, nice environment and relax for a while. These recline, massage, and heat, so you can really get comfy in here.
But the posh setup is where people go to get IV drips, like the ones found in hospital settings. Now people are volunteering to go in and get IVs put in their arms, but it's to prevent health problems, not fix them. McManus says the procedure started gaining in popularity on the West Coast about 10 years ago. Now centers are popping up across Michigan.
It's becoming more popular as I think more people become more self-aware of their bodies and they want to be proactive about their health, helping your immune system, to giving you more energy, to helping you recover from an athletic event.
I decided to give it a try. Nurse Christina Barbu started by preparing what's going into my IV drip.
Taurine, it's an amino acid, great for energy, and vitamin C. This B complex has 4 B vitamins in here.
Next, they got my arm ready to have the IV inserted. Is it in there?
It's in there, but it's not going in all the way.
I have tiny little veins.
I see that.
They are the worst. Okay, so now we're gonna try my hand because of my tiny little veins. I don't want to look at it. Did the drip start yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Coming in, it's gonna feel cold.
Okay, I am a little nervous. The process took about 30 minutes. I could feel the cold IV dripping the fluids and vitamins into my veins. And then the process was over. Time will tell what benefits it will have, but for many now taking part in IV therapy, they come back for more. In Birmingham.
A little later, we'll take a look at some of the early estimates for movies that hit the box office this week.
And we're tracking the next storm system that's headed our way. I'll tell you all about that, as well as how cold we're going to get tonight when we come back. Well, tomorrow is officially the first day of spring, and it couldn't come fast enough, especially with all the cold air that we've been dealing with here lately. It certainly felt more like winter instead of early spring around here. Right now in Seneca, Missouri, at Indigo Sky Casino Resort, you can see a pretty nice night shaping up down there. A little bit on the chilly side already. Lows this morning, as I said, were very, very cold. In fact, we were very close to the record. 18 in Joplin area. It was actually 17 at the airport, 17 in Lamar, same thing in Nevada, 16 in Fort Scott. But check out Parsons, down to 13 degrees this morning. A little bit warmer, if you want to call 20 degrees warmer, down to Veneta this morning. And we're looking at temperatures climbing into the lower 40s by afternoon. 42 was a high after starting out at 17. You can see the record 13 back in 1965, so we missed it by that much, 4 degrees. And we're starting to get a little bit behind on the rainfall, but that's going to be changing over the next couple of days too. Rainfall right now is not to be found on radar as it is all clear. We just have a few clouds floating by, especially down in Texas. But notice the high clouds with the next storm system is already starting to spill out into the plains. A little bit wider view shows that storm system over the Intermountain West and the Great Basin. That's going to be moving towards us, and then more storm systems out in the Pacific Ocean behind that. So we have several rounds of precipitation chances coming up in our forecast. Now, temperatures tonight are generally in the 30s with the south wind, so that's a warm direction, and we're going to certainly feel those winds tomorrow, but generally right now it's in the mid-30s. We're about 5 to 7 degrees warmer tonight than we were last night at this time, so at least we're on the positive side, going in the right direction. Dew points, though, are still very, very low. Look at this, 8 degrees in Anderson, same thing in Bentonville, 3 degrees in Cassville. That's extremely bone-dry air, and unfortunately, that combined with the winds tomorrow is going to increase our fire danger. 36 right now in Joplin, southwest wind at 6, feels like 31, dew point low at 11, and in Pittsburgh, almost a calm wind there, south at 6 at the airport, 34 degrees, and it feels like 29 with a dew point of 14. Now, winds tonight are going to be increasing in speed, and as we go through tomorrow morning, look at these wind speeds, over 40 miles per hour over a large part of the area, and then as we head through the afternoon, the winds are still going to be gusty, around 30 to 35 miles per hour in the western sections, lighter speeds off towards the east, but just be aware of the fire danger tomorrow. Lows tonight are going to be in the mid-20s once again with south winds, and then as we go through the day, we'll start to see the clouds increase, but we should still make it up into the low to mid-50s across the area with those gusty winds. And then as we go into Tuesday morning, lows in the 30s and 40s with showers developing, moving from west to east across our area during the day on Tuesday. And by Tuesday evening, we'll see temperatures in the 50s for highs. And then as we go through into Wednesday morning, we have a front dropping down from the north and west, and that could cause some more scattered showers up to the north with lows in the mid-50s, and then yet another chance of rain with that frontal system. Rainfall amounts on Tuesday are going to be generally around a little over from a quarter to a third of an inch, higher amounts up towards the north and east. And over the next 7 days, here's the forecast. Windy tomorrow, so hang on to your hat, 57. Rain on Tuesday, and then more rain and thunderstorms on Thursday, a pretty good chance, and then that drops off on Friday, and then more showers on Saturday and Sunday, and extending that out, it looks like we at least have more seasonable temperatures in the long-range forecast, so that's pretty good news.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm kind of excited for the rain. I can feel the difference. It's dry out there.
It's extremely dry. Needs your chapstick.
Oh, for sure. All righty, well, thank you, Sam. And stick with us because Brock comes back and is going to highlight all of our four-state sports from the weekend.
Well, the Missouri Southern Lions wrap up a big series against the Washburn Inkabas this afternoon. These two teams, both 9-2 in the MIAA coming into the day. Both teams are tied for first place in the conference standings. Lions and Inkabas are playing 2 games in Topeka today. In Game 1, Missouri Southern defeated Washburn 7-2. There was plenty of late drama on this one. It was a 3-2 ball game going into the 9th inning until Henry Kuziak had a big 3-run home run that would ice this game. Kyle Moore would pitch in relief and would pitch for 5 innings and 2/3 with no earned runs and 6 strikeouts. In Game 2, the Lions would not sweep. Instead, they would split the doubleheader after losing the game 10-5. Nate Mezikowski went 1 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Southern is now 10-3 in the MIAA. Missouri Southern will be back on the field Tuesday night on the road against Missouri S&T. Well, the Pitt State Gorillas opened their series against Northeastern State Friday night with an 11-7 win over the Riverhawks. The two teams will wrap up a series with a doubleheader today in Pittsburgh. Pitt State enters the day with a 3-game winning streak and are looking to make that 4, and they did just that after they beat the Riverhawks 5-2 in this one. Key player was Jake Grauberger. He was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Starting pitcher was Tanner Leslie, who would pick up the win after pitching 6 innings and 5 strikeouts. So here we go, game number 2. Pitt State looking for the doubleheader sweep. On the mound for the Gorillas was lefty Ben DeRosier. DeRosier, look at this. Pitches good morning, good afternoon, and good night. DeRosier finished the game pitching 6 innings with 9 strikeouts, no earned runs. And let's see, how about some bats now? Grauberger lifts this one to deep right field. There it goes. See you later. Got the wind to help him a little bit. The 2-run home run is now 6-0 Pitt State. Later in the inning now, as we see some dogs out at the park, Nixon Brannon. You think he got all that one, folks? I think so. That ball is out of here. It's another 2-run home run in the 4th inning. It's 8-0 Gorillas. Still in the 4th, Kellen Clemens, he wants some action on that home run derby. And it's a solo shot, not a 2-run home run, but it is his 2nd home run of the day. he'll gladly take that long trot. Pitt State wins soundly over Northeastern State 12-0 as they sweep the Riverhawks in their doubleheader. They've now won 5 straight. Missouri Southern softball is off to a hot start. The Lions are 17-6 overall to begin the season and 3-1 in conference play. Southern hits the field today for a non-conference doubleheader against Winona State. As we see the Warriors in action. In game 1, early in the bottom of the first, Josie Tupai ropes the double down the left field line. Yasmin Vargas comes racing around third to score all the way from first base. It's 1-0 Lions. Let's flash forward to the 5th now. Tupai up to center field once again, and there's Vargas scoring her 2nd run of the day. Now, still in the 5th, Amos gets that one to fall. It's now 3-0 into the grass. They would hold on to that lead throughout the game. Thanks to this girl, Avery Tallman, who was in the circle today. She pitched a complete game with 4 strikeouts and 1 earned run. She really controlled that game from start to finish. In the 7th inning now, some drama. Bases loaded. Deep fly ball, center field, track, fence, and it is caught over the shoulder catch. Missouri Southern wins with a sigh of relief. They held on to win game 1 of the doubleheader 3-1. And then in game 2, a different story. The Lions got off to a 4-1 start, but a 5-run rally in the 5th inning made the Lions lose this game, unfortunately. Warriors beat the Lions 6-4 in this one as they split the doubleheader. However, Missouri Southern's Ashlyn Williams went 1 for 4 with a 2-run double in this one. That'll be it with sports. We'll be back after this.
Another weekend, another big budget sequel hitting movie theaters. Well, how did the latest do? David Daniel has early estimates for the top 5 films in theaters.
You're an interesting man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania made $4.1 million for 5th place and a domestic total of $206 million. 65, the only non-sequel in the top 5, took 4th place on ticket sales of $5.8 million. Creed 3 spent its 3rd round in theaters in 3rd place, earning $15.4 million.
This isn't like any other Ghostface.
After one weekend on top, Scream 6 fell to 2nd, but made $17.5 million for a 10-day domestic total of $76 million.
The wizard gave me superpowers. And then everybody got superpowers.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods opened with $30.5 million, far less than the $53.5 million debut of the 2019 original, but easily enough to top the chart. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, there you go. It is sequel season, so they're all coming out.
That's right. Starting to make us feel a little more like summer.
Exactly, yeah. we're getting there.
I wish I had a forecast that made us feel more like summer, but we're going to have more spring-like weather, at least, after we get past tonight. Windy tomorrow, and then chance of rain on Tuesday, again on Thursday, and the showers continue with us for several days after that. But at least temperatures are going to be more spring-like instead of winter-like we've been experiencing the last few days.
Well, there you go. I like the sound of that. Yeah. All righty. Well, that's our time for now. Thanks for making us a part of your night.